Hey, what's going on guys? I'm Primal Liquid and welcome to my guide for Atelier Lulua. Now, in this video we're going to be going over the Alchemy Riddle chapter number 8 and how to complete them all. So, let's jump straight into it. So the first one is Ecology of the Sea Guardian, and this is one of the story requirements, so it's not too difficult. You simply need to gather an Uni, however it does have to be a high quality one. Anything over 51 quality should give you this unlock basically. When you are gathering items, if you look at the bottom right of the screen where the items are sort of popping up, as long as you get an Uni which gets like a little silvery glow around it, then that will work perfectly fine, and you can find these in the Guiding Light Forest. Now for the second one, you need to get Forest Dew. This also appears in the Guiding Light Forest, however it will only appear after you have unlocked this chapter 8.1 recipe. Oh, excuse me. So as soon as you can start working on this, if you go to Guiding Light Forest, you can start gathering the Forest Dew. So moving on to the second one, which is the gathering area for Mount Valis. Now for this one, you simply need to defeat Snowheart and a Draconis monster, which are both located in the exact same area, which is the Styr Highlands. Now, the rabbits can be found all throughout the mountain, however the green dragon is only located at the very top of the mountain. So, moving on to the third one, which actually gives you the Philosopher's Stone. And obviously, much like all the other Atelier games, this is a very, very important item. So, in order to get this, you must first get an alchemy level of 35, and you must also create an unsuccessful synthesis. Now, to actually get the Ashes of Failure, which you obtain by failing a synthesis, when you are synthesizing, you will notice the elements in the bottom right. Now, the very first elements will always have basically a long line for like any element moving to the right, and then you will have another element just to the left of that, which will only have 2 parts. And that is the one you need to fill to actually fail the synthesis. Now, this is very, very easy to do using boosters and things like that. And chances are you can do this pretty much at the snap of a hat. Now, even though in the bottom left here it does says and use high quality ashes, they do not have to be any quality at all. You can get a quality 1 Ashes of Failure and it would still work fine and unlock. So, those are the 3 story riddles. Let's move on to the basic riddles now, and we're starting off with a Fairies Tears, which unlocks the recipe Spirit Tears. Now, the Spirit Tears is a very, very good item for synthesis, so I do suggest getting this. So in order to get this, you first must defeat an Echo Elemental, which is located in the Modis Ruins. It is the boss type elemental located in the final area of the Modis Ruins. Now if you go in unprepared, it can be a little bit challenging, however at this stage of the game you shouldn't have any issues with it. And finally, you must acquire a World Spirit. Now the World Spirit is a rather rare item and can be a pain to amass. However, you can find them up at Mount Valis, which you unlocked through the story quest 8.2. So let's move on to the second one now, which gives you the Styrome Board. Now in order to acquire this, you simply must gather a high quality Ash and a high quality green bamboo. Now both of these are very, very easy to get. I got them both at the exact same area, which was the Newmont Forest. So you shouldn't have any difficulties obtaining either of these items. Again, you simply need to gather either of them with more than 51 quality for this to unlock. So moving on to number 3, which unlocks the Healing Incense. This simply requires you to use the Healing Bell item 15 times and for you to use the Secret Remedy item 15 times. Just be warned, interrupt items do not count for this. You must use this through the actual item command. However, any alchemist can use them, and you can use any amount in a single battle. So, moving on, we have Demon's Nest, Where Evil Rives, and this unlocks the Gathering Area Rune Stone Nest. Now, This requires a specific adventure level, however I am sorry to say I do not know the exact level, simply due to the fact this was already unlocked automatically for me. I am going to go off on a limb here and say the level required is actually level 35, simply because of the way progress has been going through previous riddles for level requirements. For the second requirement, you need to defeat the Draconia, which, much like the previous riddle, is located in the Stu Highlands, so you should have this one unlocked automatically from the previous two riddles. And finally, we have the last of the basic riddles, which unlocks the Stein Hill area. Now, let me just mention that the Stein Hill is an excellent spot for leveling and money farming. At this point in the game, this is the best area to do so, and there is pretty much only one area in the entire game better than this, at least until we get DLC areas. So, in order to get this, you must first acquire a missing jewel and a spike tuner. The missing jewel is from the Mount Valor's gathering areas and is honestly quite easy to get. You shouldn't have any issues with that. The spiked tuner, on the other hand, requires the advanced fishing rod, which you obtained from one of the previous riddles, and also requires you to move along in the story a bit to actually unlock this area at the Iziko Beach. Once you actually complete the story requirements here, you'll be able to go on the pier and fish. Now, the item you want is, as you can see in the collectible items list, it is on the second row and it is the second item. Once you've gathered that, this challenge will complete and you'll gain access to Stein Hill, which is just south of Arland. So, let's move on to the advanced recipes, shall we? Now, starting straight off, the first recipe is to unlock the Terror Bomb, which is the strongest fire bomb in the game, as long as you aren't counting the post-game items. So, in order to unlock this, you have to use the bomb item 30 times. Now, it doesn't matter which bomb, as long as you use it 30 times. And finally, you must also craft a tar liquid. Now, the tar liquid, I believe, is gotten from a reference manual, so you should already have this unlocked. If not, I would suggest checking the stores. I'm sorry to say I don't have the exact location for where this recipe is from. So, let's move on, and we have the Philosopher's Necklace. This is one of the endgame accessories for all alchemists. It is incredibly broken, so I do suggest getting this. So in order to unlock it, you must first craft a Philosopher's Stone. You have to do this for the story anyway, so chances are you have already done this. And finally, to get the Sage Herb, you can find that in the Iziko Beach that I just mentioned for the previous riddle. Well, sorry, one of the previous riddles. So, let's move on. So for this one, we have Perfect for fishing and mining. Now this gives you the Super Helix Rod and the Shaky Pickaxe. Now, this rod and this pickaxe are the best of the tiers for each of these items. So again, you should probably pick these up. Now, in order to do the first one, you need to get the Huge Isle Fish, which is the True Guardian for... Oh, excuse me. It is the True Guardian for the Eternal Spring area. So what you need to do is go to the Eternal Spring, and in, I believe it's the first or the second area, there will be a fishing point near a destroyed bridge that you just need to go and fish at. Now, doing that will make it spawn pretty much first go. I mean, for me it was first go anyway, so you shouldn't have any issues with that. So, moving on, we have the one for the pickaxe, which is Experienced Pick Welder. This simply requires you to use the pickaxe and destroy 20. The easiest place to do this at is the Heart Outpost, because of how many there are there. Now, moving on, we have Alchemic Clones, which unlocks the recipe for the Dream Vision, an item which you can use in battle to increase EXP. So to unlock this, you need to defeat the Puni Puni enemy, which is located in the Stein Hill, and finally you need to get a Rainbow Fragment, which is located in the Demon's Den or the Ruins Point gathering location from one of the previous riddles. And with that, that one is done. So let's move on to the final one, the Lord of the Logs final chapter. So, obviously, going through the game, I'm sure you've come across a point where you found a white chest that you simply can't open, even with the previous key. So, in order to do this, you must first unlock 5 treasure chests with keys. That's simply 5 normal brown treasure chests. And then secondly, you simply need to talk to the Master Locksmith in Ireland, and that will unlock this for you, which allows you to create the Researcher's Key, which is the final key and will allow you to unlock any chest in the game. And that is it for all the Chapter 8 riddles. I hope you guys have enjoyed the guide. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment down below. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.